Hey guys, welcome to South Carolina and welcome to a closed room. This is like a very special room where we get to see interesting cars. They're gonna come out in a few months, so it's actually now November. You're gonna see this video in February. So with that being said, I'm here with me, Oliver Heilmer,
Hi.
head of Mini Design. You've seen it before, no needed introduction. And we have a brand new car, so I'm gonna let you introduce the car.
So what you see here is our new Mini Cooper combustion engine.
Okay.
And immediately what you get is like our brand new color, for instance. As you can imagine, color for Mini is like really important. This color will have the name like Ocean Wave.
Ocean Wave, okay.
So, and it got this kind of really bright sparkle when the sun hits the surface.
Let me ask you this before we actually start, because
Yeah.
you know we've seen so far the J01, which is the electric version
Right.
of that, and this is the new one that's a combustion power coming next year. If you look at the overall portfolio of Minis, maybe tell me how things have evolved from the previous generation, right? Because I guess people want to know more like, is it bigger, is it smaller, is it the same
Yeah,
size?
sure. Yeah.
And then feel free to give me all the design details.
So, to be really clear, regarding the Mini Cooper, we say it has to remain as it is today. So it's roughly more or less the same size as the predecessor.
Okay, which is a good thing because people
Absolutely.
have been a little bit complaining about the country, we've been a little bit too big, even though I like it, but I saw some comments last night, oh, it's too big, now it's not a Mini anymore, even though everything gets bigger these days. So
Yeah.
actually it's quite interesting that you're keeping the same size.
Yeah, it's really important for our iconic kind of car in the Mini family. That one has to remain as compact as possible. And that's what we achieved. And it was, as you can imagine, it's always tricky since safety requirements are getting more and more challenging. And we achieved it with this all-new model. Yeah. So it's a lot of effort in the front. From a proportional point of view, there was a lot of attention to, as I mentioned, keep it as short as possible. What you see from an aesthetic point of view, we are following our principle to kind of reduce to that what's really necessary in order to like recognize our new Mini. And you see it, so it's a lot of attention to the surface treatment. You feel the softness here, some crisp lines to
Very crisp, yeah.
to support that precision that a modern car should have. But here again, a reduction. There's just one single frame, and that's it, right? And compared to the predecessor, where we did have a couple of more elements in it, we said, let's calm down, let's focus on that, what's really necessary. So it's just a combination of body color and black high gloss. When you're going for the favorite trim, you're gonna get this frame in the vibrant silver, which is our replacement for chrome, as you remember. Headlights, the same principle as we do have in the J01, which means the customer will be able to choose from 3 different signatures.
So you can customize the lights and all of that like we've seen it
In
before.
the front as well as in the rear.
Understood.
From a side perspective, still typical Mini, the contrast roof, the greenhouse, pretty clean as it is, and then the body. And here again, compared to the predecessor, we reduced elements, like we had the side scuttle in here. From a functional point of view, it's not necessary anymore. So we have the indicator just in here, just a little one, really precise, next to the camera, which is an additional feature in our new Mini Cooper. Wheel design, it's 18-inch as today, so we didn't change that either. The wheels are slightly bigger and slightly wider, which helps us, to get a nice connection to the road. Not just from a visual point of view, but as well from an aesthetic point of view, from a performance point of view.
Before we move to the back, maybe a quick question for you, because I know on the Countryman, the spats, I mean, which are these for people that don't know, they're colored in the same, color as the car, basically. Why are they different here?
So here, the approach is slightly different. The wheels are not as big as in the J01, in the BEV. So, and this car didn't need it anymore from a proportional point of view. Here, slightly bigger, but still, in general, was important to have this kind of contrast in order to get the right balance between, let's say, the black part around the wheel and the rest of the body. That's the reason why we kept it. What I have to say is something that is more subtle, what you're gonna see just when you're standing next to here. So we try to give them little feelings in terms of how we're going to treat the surfaces. You see, like it has this little shoulder on it. in the rear as well as in the front.
Yeah, it's got a couple
It's
of
a
bulbs,
little bit
I
of a
guess.
Coke bottle, like really subtle. And these are those minor changes that are more into the sophistication of the surface rather than, you know, having like really different proportions.
Gotcha. And you also have another interesting line here, which I don't think was there before, right?
True. So this, and we're talking about aerodynamic improvements and so forth. This corner is like really important for aerodynamics.
Okay.
It's a little part. It plays a certain role in it. And I think the rear is there's the biggest difference in that sense that compared to the predecessor, we do have kind of the same gesture as you found in the Mini Cooper and the electric one. But it's the same. Like we do have this kind of connection of these two tail lights. There's this super sign of the union check, which then you will be able to change if you want to. The Cooper letter in the center, as it is the Mini Cooper, the one. And the rest of the lower area, you see the bumper face is like really reduced. And
No more pipes.
Right. So we decided to not show the pipes anymore.
Okay, the reason for that?
The reason for that
People are
is-
going to ask that for sure.
The reason for that is as well to really reduce it, to focus on that what's necessary.
Okay.
And we believe that in the future it might not be as important anymore.
Okay.
And another reason was that we wanted to get closer to the electric version, which doesn't have an exhaust pipe as well.
Okay, understood.
So
It's proportion-wise pretty much the same, even though with the bulges in the back, it's still kind of the same as before.
slightly
It's,
wider,
oh, slightly wider, okay.
which helps. The stance is, as you can imagine, is like really important.
Sure.
And it's important as well for the driving dynamics.
So should we take a look inside, because I'm assuming
Yeah,
a lot
absolutely.
of major changes took place in there.
Yes.
And I've seen them in the J01, of course, in the Countryman, and it looks fantastic. I'll go on the other side, maybe.
Yep.
You can open that door and we can take a look from this side, maybe.
So,
So any differences compared to the J01 inside? Would you be able to tell one it's electric, one it's not?
so that's exactly the task. Maybe I should ask you then after that interview. What are the differences? It has the same look and feel. We are using like the same materials. What you see here, like the knitted dashboard, the knitted parts and the doors. Let's say the small but thick steering wheel and the center display. Seats, the same approach. We're talking about a vegan interior. You will recognize differences from geometry point of view in the lower area of the dashboard, where you see that there is,
Because of the transmission
space
tunnel
for
and
the
all of that.
transmission and
Correct.
for the exhaust pipe. So this is the big difference, right?
Okay.
But from an aesthetic point of view, it was pretty clear to keep them together as one Cooper family.
Gotcha.
If you want to say.
And you still have the same level of customization in this one as
Exactly.
in the other one. I mean, I see the straps here also there. Is this something that's customizable, this little piece, or?
Not yet.
Not
no.
yet.
This is actually.
I'm assuming this. I was asking mostly about the stitching, if you could.
It's
That's-
a functional. So there's a functional reason behind it.
Okay.
Because you need to have, let's say, a certain support.
Okay.
For, let's say, the structure of the seat or the structure of the leatherette, what we have here. So it is functional. It has an aesthetic approach as well. It's like you see this gesture of the long hole,
Yeah, right there, yeah.
and it ends then in the backrest of the seat in this little mini badge. So it's always about these little details that we always had in the past in the Minis. There's a button somewhere. There's kind of a little letter written down. It depends on the trim. This trim is the classic trim,
Okay.
and the combination of this textile of the fabric with this leatherette is something that you're going to find in each of our trims, depending on the colors. Then
And you still have a two-split piece, basically, sunroof, moonroof.
So
Did you ever think about having like a single piece? Will that work in a Mini, or? I always wondered.
absolutely, it would work, but then you wouldn't be able to open it. So that's a little difference between the combustion engine and the EV.
Okay.
EV has one single glass in it. and an additional headlights here.
Gotcha.
Here, this structure is, let's say, it's close to the structure we do have today. That's the reason why we kept it in two pieces in the combustion engine.
Understood. Final question, digital-wise, any differences in between, let's say, an electric Mini and this one when it comes to the digital interface? Are you getting any extra modes, or essentially all the same modes for both?
It is exactly the same as it is, but looking into, let's say, the go-kart mode, obviously for a combustion engine you do have different information than just the range or the torque, right? So the display is adapted to that what you need from a functional point of view, like engine temperature. But the look and feel is like really identical to the EV.
We should expect this next year. It's a US bound car, so compared to the J01, which is not yet.
Yeah.
Know the Laura, which is hiding right there, which is your personal handler and a personal assistant all the time, and the gatekeeper of everything, the Lord of the Rings, let's just put it that way. Would hate this question, but is there room for a JCW on this platform? I didn't say that there is one coming. I said if there is room for one.
Well, I believe personally that we should and we will continue with the JCW story as we did it already in U25. So somehow you can answer it for yourself.
All right, sounds good. Before we get in trouble with Laura.
All right.
Well, Ali, thank you so much. For always a pleasure seeing you. I appreciate always the time.
Thank
Guys, this is the MINI Cooper S. Gasoline, which is great. I mean, we love the electric cars, but sometimes we love these cars too. And next year we'll have a chance to drive all of them. I'm actually looking forward to drive the Countryman first in February, so that'll be quite exciting. And then, of course, this one, hopefully we go somewhere nice to can push it a little bit. So
perfect.
Thank you once again.
Amazing.
We'll see you next time.